Good morning. Well, good morning, everyone. It is 8:01 and it is Wednesday, I think. All the days just kind of start to run together. And we've got a lot going on. And so I wanted to give you guys a quick rundown of what is going on in Washington, D.C. This week, kind of what's happened in the last few days, the last week, because it's all very important. And of course, the mainstream media is all about ratings and what's driving eyeballs rather than what's important. So I wanted to give you guys just a quick update so you knew what was actually going on in our nation's capital and how, of course, you can help. So I actually made a list, and feel free to, one, grab a cup of coffee, but two, share the video, because we need to actually tell people what's going on in Washington, D.C. I am so sick and tired of turning on the news and they're not talking about, one, what American people are dealing with, and two, what we're actually working on in Washington. So it's going to be a great day. We're going to keep fighting and giving Nancy Pelosi hell, but let's get into it. So first and foremost, huge shout out to our new two members of the Republican conference. Miss Connie from California, she took Devin Nunes' seat. And then, of course, my girl, Mayra Flores from Texas, married to a Border Patrol agent. She is the first Mexican-born congresswoman to serve in the House of Representatives. And it was awesome getting to know her family. They swore in yesterday. And she's great. She's going to be a total rock star, and I'm so excited. And the important part of all that is to say that takes us to 4 votes. We are 4 votes away from actually being able to take the House back. So big things ahead, super excited. Can't go into it much more than that because I am in the congressional office right now, but that is a very exciting thing. Just speaks to the fact that I think Americans are really, really paying attention and wanting a change, and Republicans are the party that upholds the working class values, and we actually care about people. And so I'm really excited about what's to come in November. Big thing that's on the table this week is the Senate Gun Grab bill. So we have been hearing for weeks about kind of the framework of what they were looking to do. As you guys know, the House, they put on the House floor a package that was the most egregious gun grabbing bill ever. It literally empowered criminals. And if you've seen what happened here recently, another liberal DA paid and bought for by George Soros let a gang member out on a felony gun charge. The guy never should have had guns in the first place. And he wouldn't have been eligible to have guns under the current laws that we have. And no gun control measure that has been proposed would actually have prevented him from having a gun. I put that aside for the moment to say that he actually killed 2 officers, and 2 families are completely broken forever now because this liberal DA let a violent criminal out who had a decades-long rap sheet and killed these 2 officers. And so if that doesn't piss you off, then I don't know what will. But I tell you all that to say this. The House passed an egregious package that isn't going to go anywhere because it can't get through the Senate. So the Senate comes up with this brilliant idea, Republicans and Democrats in the Senate, that they're going to do this 8-point plan. Now, I think that there's an element of dealing with mental health within that is good, but you look at the rest of it and it's all garbage. And it does nothing to actually address the underlying issues of securing schools. And again, we come back to this place of you're just making it harder for law-abiding citizens to own guns. You're empowering criminals by making it harder for law-abiding citizens to defend themselves. And I just think that common sense has gone out the window. And the big thing that we should all be concerned about in this Senate package is the fact that it gives money. It actually allocates a lot of money to create red flag laws in all of the states. Now, keep in mind, I am from Florida. I represent a state that has red flag laws on the books. They don't work. They don't work. The data shows this. And so we have a package now that is going to cost billions of dollars. We are showing the data that says that these measures aren't going to work. And they do more, like I said, to empower criminals and keep people defenseless. We need to be dealing with the mental health issues in this country. We need to be securing our schools. And for all these politicians that are all hot and bothered by guns, these are the same people that are paying for security. And guess what? They're protected by guns. They want to defund police for you and me, but they have private security. Does anyone see the problem, the hypocrisy in the liberal ideology and their plans? I mean, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills sometimes, but I say all that to say we're going to be fighting it like hell. And here's how you can help. You can call your 2 senators. Every state has 2 senators. So I am asking you today and tomorrow and the next day to call your senators. So no matter where you are in the country, if you are in California, if you are in Florida, if you are in Ohio, Texas, especially Texas, because Texas has one of the senators who's leading the charge on this fight. So call the Senate, the Capitol switchboard, tell them what state you're from, connect to your senator's DC office, tell them that you want them to vote no on the gun package. No. It's that simple. We just got text last night. I'll do a separate video breaking down exactly what's in each title so you know. But also the action part, it takes less than 5 minutes. It's like a 2-minute ordeal. You call up the senator's office. You say, hey, my name is Jane Smith from Arkansas, and I want my senator to know that I am firmly against this package, and I want a response. So important that you give them the cue that you want a response, because at that point, they then have to send you a letter, give you a phone call back, some way of contacting you. So make sure that you do that. And I'll post the numbers in the comments and also up in the caption on this post. So again, call. Do not call the House of Representatives, call the Senate. Call your senators in Washington, D.C. So that's 2 phone calls, super easy, but it is such a difference maker. The impact that these phone calls have, I've told you guys a million times before, I get members from both the Republican side and the Democrat side who say, listen, I am getting phone calls because people are getting your videos and they're like, I appreciate it. I've even had Democrats say, I appreciate you having people call because it gives me cover to push back on Nancy Pelosi. No lie, I have had Democrats say that. It makes a difference. So call your senators, call their DC office, let them know how you feel about this gun bill. And I'm telling you, it's 2 minutes. It makes a difference. Call every day and get everyone you know to call, because we are losing our constitutional rights and our country right in front of us because of this kind of nonsense. Next thing, you're going to be hearing about a gas holiday. Biden has been talking about pushing for a national gas holiday. Let me tell you why this is a stupid idea. It sounds great, right? Everyone's very upset about the gas prices. I am. There was at my local gas station that I go to, $5.19 a gallon in Gainesville, Florida. And it's ridiculous. There's no reason we should be in this position. But instead of actually dealing with the issues that are underlying and driving the issue of why gas is so expensive in America, this administration, they want to play gimmicks and play games. So their latest gimmick is a gas tax holiday. Sounds great. Here's what it would actually do. It would save you 18 cents a gallon for 12 days. 18 cents a gallon for 12 days. Every economist and expert has run these numbers, and what it does is they say, all right, you will suspend the gas tax. That'll save you right now, based on prices, 18 cents a gallon. I take 18 cents a gallon off, sure. But because the government, aka Biden, is spending at historic levels and inflation is at historic levels, that savings will get wiped out because inflation is going so high so fast in 12 days. That's a conservative projection. It could get wiped out in 6. But I'll give people the benefit of the doubt. I'll do a conservative estimate. 12 days is billions of dollars going away from roads and bridges in our infrastructure, because that's where the gas tax goes. The gas tax pays for roads and bridges and actual infrastructure, not the infrastructure that the left wants you to think is real infrastructure, like racist buildings, right? It's actual roads and bridges, things that we need to keep our economy moving, basic life issues. That would rack up billions of dollars in bills and unfunded projects while simultaneously saving you 18 cents for 12 days, which when you look at the conservative projections, that's roughly for an average family, $10 a month. $10 a month. If you're in the South, you know what Publix is. It's a grocery store. It's an amazing grocery store, by the way. And they have pub subs. Pub subs are now over $10. So it'll save you a pub sub. It'll save you a venti Starbucks latte, if that's what you drink. It'll save you, I don't know what else is $10 because pretty much everything is so expensive now. Really nothing is $10 anymore. So this is where I come in and say, we have the solutions. We need a long-term permanent solution, not these gimmicky BS games that the left wants to play and saying that they're actually out there fighting for the people. If you're out there fighting for the people, do the thing that's best for the country, not the party, and actually get domestic production back up and running. Don't talk to me about how you are going after oil companies, because all you're doing is making the situation worse. The administration has been all over these oil companies, making it impossible for them to actually drill and refine our oil. And by the way, we're still getting crude from Russia. Just want to point that out. We're still getting crude from Russia. So for all their tough talk about Russia, Biden administration is still getting it from Russia. So it's all nonsense and it's all smoke and mirrors. So when people are saying, why the heck did Republicans vote against a gas tax holiday? It's because it's bullshit. It is literally saving 18 cents a gallon for 12 days. So by the time this bill actually goes through and gets signed by Biden, it'll be inflation because they're spending so much. It blows my mind how much money they spend. And it's like monopoly money. Because most of these people in Washington have never had a real job. They've never had to balance a paycheck or never balance a checkbook. They've never had to sign both sides of a paycheck. It's crazy. So that's what's going on with the gas tax holiday. So help me spread the word that the gas tax holiday, it's all smoke and mirrors. It doesn't do anything. Even Nancy Pelosi has come out and been like, yeah, it sounds good, but it's not really going to do anything. And I think she recognizes that politically, if they were to do this, people would be so mad that it would be worse for the Democrats. So it's just crazy that they're even talking about this instead of actual real solutions like getting government out of the way. I mean, honestly, if government got out of the way, life would be so much better in all industries and aspects. Next thing is the border. So we had our first bipartisan official congressional hearing at the border last week, and it was for the Select Committee on the Economy. I'm very lucky that I get to serve on the Select Committee on the Economy, and I was chosen to be the counterpoint to AOC. So AOC serves on this committee, and I serve on this committee. Did she show up at the border for this committee hearing? You can guess she did not. Nor did Jayapal. And get this, guys. The committee, the Select Committee on the Economy, which is controlled by the Democrats, they went to the border, McAllen, Texas, to talk about green energy. Green energy. So, of course, all of us Republicans immediately were like, are you serious? We're at the border, 3.5 miles away from the Donna processing facility, and you want to talk about green energy investments and bitch moan and complain about how the federal government isn't doing enough to invest in green energy in a border town? Folks, you have international, people on the international terrorist watch list walking through your backyard, and you're concerned about the fact that companies don't want to invest. Maybe they don't want to invest because fentanyl is coming through in volumes enough to kill 300 million people. Maybe people don't want to invest in those communities because you have 239,000 people a month crossing illegally. Maybe you don't want people investing, or they don't want to invest in those areas because you have people on the international terrorist watch list coming through your backyard. And I mean quite literally in your backyard. I was at the border, went out and worked a shift with Texas DPS and Border Patrol, and I was in Roma, Texas at 4 o'clock in the morning when I myself witnessed a crew of nearly 100 people coming up off of the river after we had just witnessed, watching through night vision on the other side of the river, the cartels stage a whole operation. They have drones. We're not allowed to have drones because the FAA under the Biden administration says, no drones for you. We watch them literally orchestrate this entire operation where they unload people, put them in rafts, send them across the river, and they walk up. Now, this is a mix of people. And by the way, every single one of them wears this. This is the wristbands that the cartels make people wear. They own these people. You don't get this wristband unless you pay $6,000. On this wristband, it also gives you the number of who you are for that day. Look at that. $1,800. Or 1,800 is the number on this. 1,816. This person, this was worn by a person, a human being, right? And in the cartel's eyes, a human is reduced to this wristband. And I'm out there at 4 o'clock in the morning watching people with these wristbands come across the river, shepherded by cartels. Meanwhile, there are runners, people who want to actively avoid apprehension, who are carrying drugs, who are sex offenders, violent criminals, and gang members, all coming across. In fact, we had several runners that came near us, and we were able to apprehend them. They're from Venezuela. Guess what? We do not have a agreement with Venezuela, so we can't send them back. Guess what happens to those people that were apprehended? If they pass the very mild, like barely screened protocols that we have in place, or if they say, I'm scared and I don't want to go home, they're coming right into our country. You do not run from Border Patrol unless you have something to hide. And these people are going to, as of this moment, they're in our country, somewhere in America. And it's incredibly frustrating. These kids are being trafficked. They're being abused. And it's just, it's mind blowing. And so I'm going to keep pushing on this border issue because it's killing Americans. The fentanyl that is being manufactured, the raw materials in China and India being sent and coordinated by the cartels, manufactured into a final product in Mexico, and then transported across into our country. It's absolutely killing us. And so I just think it is absolutely shameful that the Democrats had a hearing at the border and didn't talk about the border. And if you didn't watch the testimony from that, I encourage you to check it out. I went absolutely nuts on them. And it's crazy because these communities, these border communities are amazing. They're tight-knit communities, great people, family-oriented, like they just want to live their lives. And they quite literally have people in their backyard coming through day and night, and nobody seems to give a damn. This administration sure doesn't. So there's lots more to come on the border. I'll be posting some videos and photos of what we saw. And again, this is number one threat to national security. Between China, the spending, and the border, we're in a world of hurt. But we're going to keep pushing and exposing what's going on. Remember, we are now 4 votes away from taking the majority. And I can't talk the political side here, but it is going to be a full-blown battle, and we're on the forefront leading the charge. You can go on the other page where I can talk about that more. But yeah. So also this week, things that are going to be happening. Supreme Court is going to be releasing the final opinion on the Dobbs v. Jackson case. You guys will probably be hearing about that a lot. The Dobbs v. Jackson case is really going to be the stage for the Roe v. Wade discussion, right? So the Supreme Court is not really ruling on Roe. They're ruling on the Dobbs v. Jackson case, which is the Mississippi state case where they wanted to allow the state wanted to make the decision of where they could draw the line on abortion. So this case is really about affirming states' rights. So when people talk to you about it, just remind them that the Dobbs v. Jackson case that is wrapped up in the abortion discussion, it's about states' rights, and states have the right to choose what abortion laws they have on the books. And in the case of Florida, we have the 15-week ban. I think that we should be protecting life because we are a country that is rooted in the philosophy that we uphold life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and life is the very first tenet in that philosophy. So I am so excited for that ruling to come, but with that, we will probably see a ton of violence. We've already seen an assassination attempt on Justice Kavanaugh and his family. We are seeing different groups targeting pregnancy centers. This should not ever be tolerated, ever. And the fact that you have people on the left that are not only condoning this violence, they are encouraging it. Schumer, on the Senate side, has basically said, this is a call to arms. Lori Lightfoot, the Chicago mayor, this is a call to arms. Absolute nonsense. And best believe that what goes around comes around, because we will hold these people accountable. You cannot be in a position of leadership and have the platform of being an elected official representing people across this country and not be accountable for your words and your actions. So for all of my Democrat friends that are calling for violence, I should say colleagues, not really friends, but the ones that are calling for violence, shame on you. Shame on you, and you will be held accountable. Absolutely insane. So be mindful that if you are involved in the life movement, it's going to be a great week, but it's also going to be a week where we will see a tremendous amount of violence and hatred. And we need to be prepared. So for all of the pregnancy centers in our district, we are talking with our local law enforcement, making sure that they have all the resources they need to help protect our pregnancy centers. And really, again, I hope calmer minds prevail, calmer heads prevail, but y'all, it's just crazy right now. Baby formula. Okay. 17 million bottles are being flown in this week. You may have heard that the Sturgis, Michigan facility, the Abbott facility that manufactures about 43%, 90% actually of the specialty formula, but overall 43% of the baby formula. It was back up and operational after we raised Cain. And I have to say thank you to you guys. After we posted those videos and exposed the baby formula crisis, you guys helped us so much by spreading the word, making it go viral to the point where the White House, the Washington Post, CNN, Rolling Stone, and Vanity Fair all called me a liar. But because of you guys and you sharing the photos and the videos of when we went down to the border, exposed that they were stockpiling it at the border, where you couldn't even get it at your local stores, thanks to you guys, we now have some actual relief. It's not anywhere near where we need to be, but we were able to pass legislation that eased the labeling requirements. And I was proud to support that, where we could actually waive the labeling requirements from European baby formula to fly it in and import it. But then people got a little bit sideways, because what Nancy Pelosi said was, never let a crisis go to waste. Let's get more money from American moms and dads who are already struggling to find formula, pay for it, pay for gas, pay for rent, and all the other things we got to pay for. She wanted more money. This is how crazy it is. Nancy Pelosi asked for more money after just months ago we had given them $120 million for formula and moms and dads. And she wanted more. So we didn't tolerate that. We called her out on it. A lot of people conflate the fact that we said no to more funding for FDA for a slush fund that wasn't going to actually go to formula. They thought that we were voting against baby formula. Not the case. Again, the left does nothing but spin for political reasons. But we are going to continue pushing the FDA. I had a call with all of our baby formula manufacturers last week. We continue to stay up with them and engaging with the FDA to make sure that we are keeping pressure on them to keep moving the needle forward. So we have got to keep doing that. And believe me, there are going to be some major changes. When we get the majority, we are hot after making sure that the FDA never does this again. And they did this. They shut down the nation's manufacturing of baby formula without a plan to backfill really the half of the manufacturing and the supply that that company makes up. So absolutely crazy. But if you are having problems finding baby formula, call our office. Some of the manufacturers are doing specialty orders for folks that have specialty children or infants with specialty needs. So again, you can call our office and we can help you get connected to those manufacturers. And then looking forward to this week, what we have is a lot of committee work. For me, especially, I am dealing with some issues within the Select Committee on the Economy, which is a tax hearing. Believe it or not, in the midst of insane gas prices and groceries that are through the roof, the Democrats are having a hearing on increasing taxes and why that's good for Americans. Y'all, I cannot make this shit up. I can't. I literally cannot make this up. They're having a hearing on why Biden's plan to increase taxes is good for Americans. I swear, if I wasn't on keto, I would be drinking. Because this is what they do. They do ridiculous things that make you feel like you're taking crazy pills. I just gotta say, I cannot wait to absolutely rip them to shreds today. That hearing is today. It is at noon. I am looking forward to absolutely debunking every single claim that they have as to why increasing taxes is good for the middle class. So we will be posting that video. I encourage you, you can watch it live. It is the Select Committee on the Economy. Check it out. Republicans are absolutely going to dominate with common sense. So excited about that. We also have, and I'm being told I'm supposed to wrap it up. Yes, ma'am. I also have two ag hearings, one on crypto and digital assets. I'm sure you guys probably never thought that the ag committee would be in charge of CFTC and crypto and Bitcoin and blockchain. So if you're interested in that, that's something that we have really been working hard on. So yeah, check that out. That's going to be exciting. And then some issues on the dairy programs and how we're going to fix the dairy programs moving forward so that all of our communities can have access to safe and affordable milk. Because I don't know if y'all have picked up a gallon of milk recently. It's absolutely through the roof. Lots of committee work happening, lots of crazy votes. There's some legislation dealing with veterans and taking care of our vets that I'm going to be working on. And so stay tuned. A lot going on. I know that I just threw a ton at you, but that is what is really going on in Washington, D.C. this week. So I hope that helps. We'll keep you guys up to date. I'll do some smaller, shorter videos that are like 5 minutes that break some of these issues down so you can share those as well. But thank you guys so much for continuing to share the videos, helping us really get the word out about what's going on. And that's how we're going to take our country back. So really, really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for everything. And again, take care. God bless. Have a great week. Keep the faith.